up, guys? It's your girl, Miss LB. Okay, and y'all know I have been following this whole Big Meech 50 Cent story. Yes, I am nosy. We all nosy. I think we all have agreed that we're invested at this point. I have watched hundreds of hours of podcasts. I've read like crazy paperwork, and this story is just intriguing to me on so many levels because it shows the power of social media. But we'll cross that bridge later. I wanted to talk about the root of the problem. Let's get off of Meech and let's talk about Tammy Cowin. The root of the problem. Lord, y'all, this lady is a black widow. I'm almost scared to make this video because she's so vicious, okay? Listen, let's go down her dating history. Y'all might see me glance at my notes because I don't want to mess anything up. She got married to her first husband, Anthony Cowin, I want to say in 1995, 1996, okay? So they got married. They stayed married to around 2003. Now, during their marriage, you know, she worked at Goldman Sachs. He was, I think, like some kind of business guy, very normal relationship, but he was kind of fighting a case for something that had nothing to do with Tammy. I don't know, it was like some little petty crime he did, and he was on probation for it, okay? So keep in mind, around 2003, we know Blue said that they started dating already. So she's dating Blue about 2003. Around the same time, she started having problems with her husband, Anthony Cowin, okay? They get into it. Nobody really knows why they got into it. They said he was on drugs, he was spending money, he just had a rough childhood, and she accused him of hitting her, okay? So, of course, that was a violation of his probation, so he ended up getting arrested, going to jail. He had to do a few days in jail, some community service or whatever, but it all was a result of her reporting. Key word here, this lady will get you put in jail just like that. And she reported he hit her, he went to jail, they separated, she filed for divorce. Now, during the time, this is around 2000, I think, 4 or 5, she's seeing Blue, she's still married. During the divorce proceedings, guys, she asked for his life insurance policy. Now, I've been married a few times, and I've asked, well, really, I take that back because I never asked for anything during the whole divorce or process, but to ask for someone's life insurance policy. Now, she claimed that they do have a daughter. We don't know much about the kid, which is fine because we don't, want to get all into that. Kids have nothing to do with it, but that was just like a kind of a side. I'm like, why would she ask for control of his life insurance policy? But okay, maybe she's trying to, he's on drugs, so she's saying, and she want to make sure something happened that he takes care of, or their daughter is taken care of. Cool, fine. So they filed for the divorce, I believe, in sometime early 2005, 6, okay? In August of 2006, so a year after they filed, the court date came up, neither one of them showed up. The case was dismissed by the judge without prejudice, meaning they could bring it back up, but neither one of them showed up. The court thinking, okay, maybe they worked it out, I don't know, they dismissed the case, okay? Never came back up because that was in August of 2006. They dismissed the case. In April of 2007, 6 months later, Anthony Cowin, Tammy's first husband, died in a mysterious motorcycle accident. I'm just a messenger. This is all public information. I think Tammy is playing a very dangerous game, opening up a can of worms. So now in the process of, they still were separated. In 2006, she filed for divorce, but she also met Terry White. Terry White is the guy that she put in jail that she originally was snitching on. So we go from her filing for divorce in 2006, meeting Terry White in 2006, her case getting dismissed, her divorce case getting dismissed in 2006, to her husband, her ex-husband, well, he was her husband because she's a widow, dying in 6 months after the case was dismissed. Very interesting also that Blue Da Vinci said she gave him a motorcycle. He said some video shoot he did and he was sitting on a motorcycle. Blue Da Vinci said that she gave him the motorcycle. I don't want us to forget that she was originally dating Blue in 2003, okay? So now, and we'll talk about Blue in a whole nother video. Let's fast forward to now she's with Terry White, okay? So first husband's passed away. She meets Terry White. Her and Terry White are dating. Terry White launders money. He gets people to, I guess, somehow clean the money through the credit card. So he puts stuff on the credit card. They pay it off. I don't really know how it works, but it's some kind of money laundering where they clean the money through the credit cards. He also has a drug business on the side, but she doesn't dibble and dabble with that, but she is helping him launder the money. Apparently, she finds out he's laundering his money, and she's just, oh my God, I don't want to get in trouble. She talks to a ex-convict who referred her to Jack Harvey. She ends up telling on Terry White. In the process of telling on Terry White, they're in the car driving. She flips the phone down. The feds are listening. She get him to admit his money laundering scheme, and also that she didn't know anything about it. Terry White is convicted off of Tammy information. He gets like 25 years. Okay, husband number one is deceased. Now her boyfriend is locked up for 25 years on information that Tammy gave them. Keep in mind, they're saying that Terry had actually left Tammy because it was just weird. Like, you wake up one day and you say, okay, you find out he's laundering money, which you had to know because they said the house was worth crazy money. How did you think he was paying for it? He wasn't working. So I always said, well, what made her even get upset about it? But I do believe that he left her for somebody else because she has a pattern here, guys. When things don't go her way, she's gonna get you locked up. Period, point blank. So now Terry White's gone. That was like in 2010. In the midst of all this, she meets Cuffy. Her and Cuffy they're riding around. They're trying to sell the deal. She has a connect out in LA through Cuffy, which is MC Hammer brother. That's part of the story where they have to make sure they say Cuffy, let me see the thing. Okay, Cuffy, he was the one, and Cuffy just tells so many different stories. You have to piece together what he's trying to say. So basically, he's saying he had to connect. He paid the $250,000 to get the script. At first, he said, "Well, I don't know why Meech would give her the rights instead of his sister or his mama or whatever." But then he turned around on another podcast and said, "I told Tammy to get his rights." So now we know Meech gave Cuffy a lot of the things he say. If you pay attention, you can use it against him. You keep showing us pictures of his little daughter on the couch with Meech. This was your homeboy for 30 years. I'm assuming Meech gave Tammy the rights because his man's out here is telling him, his man's of 30 years per Cuffy is saying, bro, I got this connect, I got this deal, I got you, give Tammy your rights, me and Tammy gonna work it out. I do think that Tammy was sleeping with Cuffy in the middle of all of this. I do think Tammy snaked Cuffy out. I think once the deal got close, I think once Tammy hooked up with 50 Cent, she didn't need Cuffy anymore. And let me go back to how manipulative Tammy is for 1 second. She got from her first husband, she got $100,000 life insurance. The person that hit the ex-husband was uninsured. She got $200,000 from them, and then her job gave her like $20,000. She was working at Goldman Sachs to bury her first husband. She claimed that she had all this debt, never mind that she already originally said that they had settled all the debt in the divorce, when they was originally filed the paperwork. Now she said, well, I'm not doing all of this for money because we are so in debt. All the life insurance money she got for her first husband went to pay off their debt. Well, honestly, once she got the check from the life insurance company, she filed bankruptcy. So Tammy is very smart, very manipulative, very greedy. So to keep the attention off of her getting his life insurance money after asking for his policy, her whole story was, well, I paid debt with it, but she didn't. She filed bankruptcy. They cleaned all of that money. All of that debt, wiped it off. Boom. She took the money from the life insurance. She took the money from the insurance company, and she bought her a condo. Let's get back up here to, now Terry White's gone, now we're up here with Cuffy. I do think that originally her and Cuffy was riding around, shopping the deal. I think once that kind of broke down and she hooked up with Meech, I'm sorry, with 50 Cent, I don't think she needed Meech or Cuffy anymore. I think that everyone's saying that she said, I do think Meech was middleman in the deal between Cuffy and the Mexican making side money. Meech is a hustler. Guys, he's a hustler. So I do think that he was middlemanning the situation and getting some pros off of it, stacking it. I don't think he knew anything about no deal or none of that. I think Tammy, in her mind, threw Meech under the bus to say he hooked us up, because that now gives a conspiracy theory, because Cuffy may be right about something when he said Meech was his unindicted co-defender. I think Tammy saying Meech hooked them up in her mind was going to get Meech jammed up to keep Meech locked up. You got to remember, Meech, like Rice, is probably only good as long as he's locked up. Once he's out, a lot of that stuff they be signing when they locked up is null and void once they come home. So I think Tammy deliberately threw Meech in there to say he hooked up Cuffy and the Mexican, because now that makes Meech conspiring to sell these drugs. So now Meech gets 10, 15 more years while Tammy keeps control over his life rights. And as an executive producer, I'm an executive producer. As the seasons grow, you get more money as the executive producer. So I think it's the opposite. I think she did that based on keeping Meech locked up. But once things start falling apart, I think she had to backtrack that, because they couldn't indict Meech on something he really didn't know about. And I think that's why he's the unindicted co-defendant, because it came out that he really didn't know. I think that at this time, they all just started trying to protect each other and cover each other's ass. So I think Tammy was trying to get Meech jammed up. Then I think because she just woke up and said, I don't want to deal with, she went to Jack Harvey and said, I don't want to deal with, Cromer, I don't want to deal with Cuffy anymore. Well, why? You know, they said, well, he ran off with the plug and this and that. Tammy don't give a damn about nobody running off on no plug. She's a very vindictive, out for self person. I think she didn't want to deal with Cuffy anymore because she was linking in with 50. Cuffy was in the way. Period, point blank. Cuffy just always in the way. That's the problem with Cuffy, that he has to realize he's always just in the way. Move, Cuffy, watch out. Cuffy, I think, was trying to snake me, because we know Cuffy, he ran off on the plug. I think Cuffy was trying to snake me too, but we're not on Cuffy right now. Sorry, backtrack. But I think she did go and set Cuffy up, because now she's trying to get Meech out the picture. 10 more years for him, keep control of the rights, get Cuffy out the picture. Now she has the script to pitch to 50. Everything goes to Tammy. Everything goes to Tammy. And if Cuff stop and read between the lines with a lot of things like Meech said, I think Cuff know the truth now. I think now he's just dug a hole so deep he just don't want to even try to dig himself out of. But I certainly think that Meech had no idea. In 2003, when Blue, and we'll get on that, when Blue hooked up Tammy and Meech in 2003, Tammy was a damn clerk at Goldman Sachs or whatever. Her husband was like a little peon business person, the one that's deceased. Meech would have no reason to even think that this businesswoman, that she wasn't an informant at the time. Tammy gets pissed off, and when she gets pissed off, she gets vindictive, and she puts people in jail. Period, point blank. Everybody that has pissed Tammy off ends up in jail. Hell, I don't blame Meech. I would have sat back and shut up too. Tammy who? Tammy who? I ain't got no beef with Tammy, because Tammy might give me 10 or 15 or 20 more years. So y'all chill on Meech, because Meech playing chess, not checkers, because everybody else that played with Tammy ass is doing 20 to 25. Meech let that girl have her way, as he should have, because he knew, or he has saw, one husband dead, her boyfriend 20 years, Cuffy 27 years. Meech wasn't about to play in that girl face. He a boss, but he a smart boss. He know he's still on papers for another year. I think all hell is going to break loose January, February of 2026, when Meech can really tell his story. I think Meech, if you pay attention to different things, BMF is not backing that story like that, y'all. BMF, the real BMF people, they're not eating off that story like that. They're complaining about stuff not happening the right way, the timeline, a lot of different things. So, yeah, I think a lot of this comes down to Tammy being a vindictive black widow. Definitely think Tammy is a black widow, and if all of these podcasters just put the facts together, and I'm gonna do another video real quick on my synopsis of the situation, I think we will all agree what really happened here, and it's gonna come out. And woo, run the check up now, because once that come out, it's gonna be over for a lot of podcasters. So that's my video, that's my opinion. Tammy, hey, at the end of the day, you a bad mama jamma, baby. Cause you hook them in, will them in, and crush them. But every dog have his day. To do so many things out of spite, you gotta see God one day about that. I mean, in your mind, you're probably justifying it like these are drug dealers, blah, 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 blah. But that means you're taking God's job into your own hands for your own selfish greed. And I mean, even with Jack Cromer, y'all, I'm sorry, it was Cromer, whatever the guy, Keith Cromer, when she didn't need him anymore, she went to his boss and said, we sleeping together. Got the man fired from his job, lost his pension. I mean, he was a DEA agent for like 20 years. So you got the one husband dead, the Terry White 20 years in jail, Cuffy 27 years, Cromer fired from his 20-some year job. You damn right. Meech sat back and said, whatever she say is true, baby. Yeah. Shout out to you, Meech, for being the only smart one out of this whole situation. But y'all subscribe to my channel. I am Author Miss LB, CEO of Plush Production. You can check me out. Go stream my movies. I have some series out. Get this to Meech. Tell him if he's looking for a writer for the new BMF series. Let's get it going, because I know Meech gonna have some stories, baby. He gonna come. So thank you for watching the video.